Thank you very much. Welcome everybody to the Provincial Métis Council meeting of February 18th, 2025. Just want to acknowledge being here in Treaty 6 territory in the homeland of the Métis, and going to continue on with that history in the current context of Métis governance. Now, in order to start in a good way, I'd like to ask our elders, Norman and Louise, to bless us with an opening prayer, if you could.
Good afternoon, Kakio, everybody. It's a great honor to be one of the provincial elders, to stand here in honor as we represent our nation, north, central, and south of the province. And we think about those today that are leading and sitting in the positions in leadership, from presidents, area directors, to leaders in our administration. And we ask our Creator to help us today as we move forward. And we think about those that are less fortunate than us, that are freezing out there on the streets, and those that are struggling with alcohol and drugs, and those that recently lost loved ones, and those that are struggling with cancer and are in hospitals. So let's get grounded with the right spirit as we move forward. So with that, ngapik skwane wa malang inan limitsif manituga kimigoyak istanan kische chabat stayak Chimos tayak, tandeus chiak. Manitu, nuih komau, le bon Dieu, we tap megoyak. Anush shega, che pashken amak in ma kische. Utagani pauyak, niganis tamak. Che shitoskato yak, chimamo atuske yak. Nianana yes li vieux mode que te aginanik. Nianan foundation gais nekatek. Kayashos chigapeus chiak. Now 58 years uta kanipoyan. Kiapits anus. Kapik squataman and he. Kianan katepehtamak. Katepemisoyak. Louis Riel gegis ksenan Louis Riel dega kapskamak egwa family day kispene gawiya moya wat taga kasketanan chini boya oma government ka shnekatek kenan ka giwstayak egwan maksche chmostayak egawiya ka chepe panat stat Kienana yes kisok senan manito, wichinan anos, kische anos. Oma wata kani pawek, kahyoga natuhtakik, wistawawogik, kapitagwa natuhtakik, wistawawchik skeihtakik, kewawma, wata kani pawyakosche, kienan manito, temagiminan, wichinan manito, wata. Kiteenan, chipastena machnat körinan, ko yes chipita gwebajek, itaga mostak. Merci. Thank you so much. Let's have a wonderful meeting.
Creator, as we thank you for your mercy and your grace. As we start this day, we cast our worries and burdens onto you. Please help those who are dealing with addictions, homelessness, illnesses, and loss. May you continue to watch over us and keep us from harm. And bless those that are families that are missing their young people. Isaiah Hansen, Kara Tobak. They've been missing for the last couple weeks. And I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate one of our young people celebrating his 3 years of sobriety, Brennan Marasti. And I'd also like to say happy birthday to one of our representatives from Eastern Region 3, I believe, Wendy Gervais. Happy birthday. We want to express our gratitude and praise to you, Creator, for sending us so many gifted people to work among us. Help us to respect their efforts and to encourage them to criticize constructively when they need it in ways, and build them up and not tear them down, and to advocate for the support they need to carry out their work. Remind us to give praise and when praise is due, and to honor those who give of themselves, to thank them for their accomplishments. God bless the Métis Nation that works tirelessly to create these opportunities. Provide them with the strength they need to continue their work. We pray that you will guide the work of all those who have been called to help us find the answers to the challenges we face in our communities, so that our communities may become wonderful homes we so long for, a place others can admire and learn from in our Métis history, culture, traditions, and to be respectful of each other, and more deeply, as those are the very rights Riel fought for: recognition, self-determination, self-government, and as Métis people, we continue to progress with preserving our identity, culture, values, and language. We pray that you would give us great wisdom and insight as we discuss our work plans and make decisions about the future. Merci, Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you, Norman and Louise, for getting us started in a good way on this cold winter day in Saskatchewan. Now we're going to proceed into roll call, so if you could give me here, that'd be great. I know we have a few people joining us virtually that are voting candidates. President Glenn McCallum. Here. Thank you. Vice President Michelle Leclerc. Secretary Lisa McCallum.
Here.
Thank you. Northern Region 1, Laura Bernoff. Thank you. Northern Region 2, Leonard Montgrand. Northern Region 3, Mervyn Tex Bouvier.
Here.
Eastern Region 1, Ryan Lee Carrier.
Online here.
Thank you. Brent W.J. Dignas, Eastern Region 2.
Here.
Eastern Region 2A, Tim J.W. Rusin.
Here.
Thank you. Eastern Region 3, Mark Friesen.
Here.
Western Region 1, Loretta King.
Hi.
Thank you. Western Region 1A, Billy Kennedy. Western Region 2, Sherry Ann McLennan.
Here.
Thank you. Western Region 2A, Kathy Pruden Ansel.
Here.
Thank you. Western Region 3, Wendy Gervais.
Here.
Happy birthday. Youth President, Autumn Lang-LaRose.
Ota.
Thank you. Métis Women, Darlene Langen. Thank you. Could I get a motion to accept the agenda, please? President McCallum, second. Minister Friesen, discussion. Secretary or Vice President Leclerc.
Now, a couple of things, one of which was I don't think that we came out of camera last meeting, and it has been the sort of the business that we have done previously is to either come out of camera with a motion formally so that we have it for the record. And so I wanted to ask that, first of all, because I'm going to suggest that our in-camera agenda be put at the very front end of this agenda, and I'd like to add a couple. I don't know what's on that agenda because I haven't seen it, but I'd like to add a couple of things to it. One of which is an update on Isle Lacrosse. The other one is the HR policy with respect to our employees.
Mr. Friesen.
Thank you, Chair. With respect to moving our agenda, flipping it from public-facing to in-camera first, there's reason to have public-facing initially. We have observers here and we have people online that are tuning in to the Provincial Métis Council, and I'm expecting that the in-camera session is going to be a lengthy one. And there are some exclusions to that, of course, so I'd like to keep the agenda as is. That's my recommendation, and that's what I will support. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gervais.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure of the protocol, so maybe we should find out, because technically we should be in camera. So does that mean, and I'm asking this, does that mean we physically move everybody out because we need to be in camera to start the meeting, and then come out of camera, if that's what we're going to do, and then bring everybody back in? But I think, as Minister Friesen said, I do respect what she said, that we have people that are here and present and online that want to view and watch the meeting, and our in-camera could be lengthy, but the in-camera, I think, is also important, and I would apologize to anybody here or citizens watching. It was, I guess, our neglect as a full PMC that we did not come out of camera as we should have. So I think we move forward with in-camera. It's a suggestion, and I think VP Leclerc suggested that. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary McCallum had her hand up.
Thank you. Since we are still in camera, I agree with the two items that Vice President Leclerc would like to add to the in-camera session, but I'd also know, as we are all aware, as the Provincial Métis Council, there's an internal letter that was addressed to the Provincial Métis Council. Oh, I'm not saying it, but that matter has to be addressed in camera, so I would like it to be addressed before the meeting, before the actual meeting. So that's my recommendation as the PMC member. Thank you.
Just for the record, the last meeting did end, and when a meeting ends, it's over regardless, and we've been told by our previous legal counsel that, you know, basically it's over. So we're not in camera, we are in public. Minister Friesen.
My comments withdrawn. Thank you.
Secretary McCallum.
Then at this time, I don't know if that was a motion then, so I would like to make a motion to go in camera.
We have a motion to accept the agenda in front of us right now, so we can't have a motion.
So
there's another
the
motion.
motion to accept the agenda, then I would make the, ask for an amendment to the agenda, that the in-camera be moved up.
This has already been asked by
Okay,
Secretary
and then-
Leclerc, or
then,
Vice President, sorry.
Okay. The other thing, I believe there's another item, is that there's business arising out of the minutes, so that portion not be a consent agenda.
Minister Friesen and/or, sorry, who moved the, I got to bring my motion back up here. President McCallum, are you amenable to any changes on the agenda? No. Okay, so the agenda has, the movers and seconder have not agreed to change the agenda. Minister Gervais.
Again, I'm not sure of protocols and processes, so if somebody could address this. There's business arising from the minutes, whether it's a consent agenda or not, and in order to keep the minutes correct, I think we need to address the business arising from.
So the business arising from the agenda is in your online binder. The information that was asked for has been made available in there.
No, normally, and I'm not clear on things, so if we do have someone here, legal or someone that could help us with this, there's business arising from the minutes, there's things missing from the minutes that wanted to be addressed, so that would be business arising.
So you're saying in the minutes here, there's stuff missing?
Yes, and so we always deal with business arising, or if there's any omissions or anything like that.
Okay, I'll get you to bring that up when we talk about the consent agenda.
Okay.
Okay. Vice President Leclerc.
Okay, so not accepting the agenda being changed. I don't have, none of us have, the in-camera agenda, and I wondered whether or not the additions that I wanted to add in the in-camera are things that are going to be addressed like right now. So I would like to, again, suggest that in the in-camera agenda that an Isle Across update be in camera,
Okay, so
as well as the HR policy on the rights of our, democratic rights of our employees.
Okay, and that can be brought up for the agenda when we're in camera. Secretary McCallum.
Just need clarification. In regards to the approval of the agenda, so would we not, like, so none of the, like, there were 3 proposed changes to the agenda, so all 3 were non-accepted? I just need clarification on that.
The agenda is the agenda here. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. Sorry, Mr. Bouvier first.
I call a question.
Okay, she had her hand up. There is a motion to accept the agenda. So she had her hand up, I'll go to her.
I've just asked for clarification regarding, and I don't know who we talked to about this, so I'm asking. I asked for clarification regarding, we go through the minutes, but consent agenda means we accept the minutes. But we always have a place where, if there's omissions or something, we always have a place where, is there any business arising from the minutes? And that's what was asked for, is addressing business arising from the minutes. 6.2? Okay, sorry, my colleague said it'll be, can you look, John? 6.2?
Yep.
Okay, then we're good, That's all I was trying to just make sure that we can deal with business arising, that's all.
Okay.
Perfect.
And, sorry, question was called. All in favor? No. We're voting on the agenda, just to accept the agenda. Minister Friesen and then President McCallum. All in favor? I need to hear the people online, please. Keep your hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11. Okay, the agenda passes with 13 that I could see. All right, opening remarks, President McCallum.
Thank you, Tinige Mercier, Mr. Chair. Sisi was mga tak your government taktukan tuk tamigi o mistehigi we miwats payo yatos katama provincially asun ye we sat magutiu ka kiugi we egwasti the University of Saskatchewan. Tenemis kok skiti no tan siu ispe gat ni ganu ti atui pats kispen federal election apo ispayo maga kapapihuno muy maga kiwe kinagisti no takimi mo nan ko yes tugui mi upetamak kiwe ga kiog itsay sino taktukan tuktami Métis people askuma na mitune chige election ga ispaik pichata nagiwe kapihtina o pichata sino ag tayo muak asko kwanta uksis payo siya gitsuma no suma igwagi gats little over 2 months pamuis election days paik puta naga tuhki o nagayamit tan sagay sayamit our government kia no miupm payo kuchihtanan igor staff kwes kuchihta auguste kweste suipinigi chik kai we tanagi maga igutah kami muya kaste kato tagu suipinigi ya payag piego ya kia pets kitaya muhuno tas ku elders oge ni sokaya mahachik thank you kay tananak igwasti kia pets tagui kuchihta ya tanse iwisipih tagui pita makip matsun no
uma government si khatik kya big time mo no ta kui katwa sui pinigia tan sigai sindawi tamigio o igwasi tan si sindawi tamig tawi chi gui goyak economic development, education, health. Kunan he bichat katos katamaki gwe bago kweyesi go dat nsto tamuhana nak the government igwasi institutions igwasi kiti sinim nawak may masiniwan ma kiapits but kami mo no tasukap suya katawata gwi sui pinigia Thank you, elders, for those for the prayer this afternoon. Louise and Norman, thank you so much in regards to the prayers that you say and how you say those prayers, and to be connected to those prayers as we meet this afternoon. A lot of times we forget because of politics. Sometimes we forget because of technicalities. We ended up sitting here with you guys for half an hour discussing technicalities. And that should never be the case. You want to hear regards to what our government is doing, what files are we working on, to give you the update in regards to where we're going as a government. Our last assembly, again, technicalities, we didn't resolve anything. Magi wesos kwati gipikota micheto. Sams tahi pik square. Dan site se mitsa magi we. Too many technicalities. We want magi o kadawit tami gay sino kan tami. We go na go tagawas kapitsik. Yut na go taniganista go. Taniganista ta. To be the leaders, to represent you, to do the work that needs to be done. That's our job here. The focus point for me has always been reconciliation. I've always said that word is a weasel word, but it shouldn't be. It doesn't have to be. The doors that are open with the federal government, the province, industry, and institutions like the University of Saskatchewan are starting to realize how to support us and not get in the way of what our role is as a government. The more that they begin to understand, to be able to support us with the right capacity, the right support systems, we'll get somewhere. Reconciliation is on our shoulders, on this table. The people that have been elected, it's on our shoulders. How are we going to do that? Be stuck in technicalities like we did with the assembly? Didn't accomplish anything? And again, half an hour this afternoon? We got to stop that. I talked to our technical people in regards to the questions you asked, that they be on top and to be able to give the answer. Because everything we do here always falls back to our staff, our technical people, our legal. They have to have a voice here. We come and go, politicians. Our staff get to stay here. They run our government every day. And sometimes we neglect that. The respect and understanding and the cooperation should be given respect to our staff. Our identity, culture, values, and language, like you spoke of, Louise, in your prayer, and Norman, are the 4 pillars that should hold this government in place. Distinction-based focus, planning, and delivery systems, that's our job. How do we do that? We've come a long ways in having the federal government use the words that we use. When we talk about government, they had a hard time saying that. Not anymore. The support that has been given to us, the regular phone calls we get in our office from ministers, It's a beautiful thing to see, but there's a lot of work attached to those phone calls. We've had quite a few meetings with ministers from the province, and we've had a lot of visits from Ottawa. But we still have a plan in place, and we have to continue working on that plan to be able to deliver for our people. It's very difficult when we say distinction. For many years, the Isle Across School file will be discussed later, but the results of residential school have left us lost sometimes and not grounded in our ways. But we're getting there. The generational effects of complicate reconciliation when governments or other entities try to do as much as they can to be able to do something to answer that question, but they won't be able to answer it because it's on our shoulders. The delivery systems. Status quo, assimilation has been alive and well in Canada for many years. But we're the ones. Why do we have our elders sitting at this table? Because they know, they're grounded in regards to who they are and who we should be. And how we begin to listen to our people through engagements, through your regional, as regional directors, having your regional council meetings, to be able to talk to your local presidents, to be able to have the presidents talk to their people on the ground. All of us have a job. And as I say this, there's a lot of people listening in, and thank you for that. Our young people, our future. Our elders always say the prayer, our future generations, our young people coming. If we can't straighten it out and create a well-oiled machine here in this government, they too will fall in the trap of politics. They too will fall in the trap, I don't like you, I don't want to listen to you, I don't have to talk to you. Will happen to those young people. But I guarantee you, the heartbeat of our government, I've always said, is our registry. We've never passed 2,500. We're up to 33,000 Métis signing on because they believe in us. And 5,000 in the works. To see the smiles when my wife and I travel across this province, it's beautiful to see. And the young children, through education that we get involved in, our elders that visit those schools, and the parents that talk to us in regards to carrying their spirit in a good way and affects those young ones. Our future is bright. We sometimes are the worst enemies to our own selves, if you look at our history. It seems sometimes we can't get over that hump. But we will get there. Within the last 7.5 years, we've made headway. Our people are listening. And an election is just around the corner. And this is not an election speech I'm giving. It's a reality speech that I'm giving. It's still your choice in regards to who you want. But don't forget the success that we've had in a very short period of time. Things like these happen. Sometimes it takes 15, 20 years, 25 years to get where we are. Your government has done a lot in a very short period of time. And those numbers show, like I said, the heartbeat of our government, our registry. Shows. Anybody can say government, but if it's not backed up by your people, then you don't have nothing. We have our people behind us. They know. They see. They hear. They'll know. So I leave it to the people. But we owe it to them to be able to sit around this table and accomplish something. to govern ourselves in a good way as best we can. Kapikakiyut gat nan at nigan, we'll continue visiting you as much as we can, speak to you as much as we can, but we're limited now. The time factor becomes an issue because of election. But we will carry the voice of our government when we speak to you. So with that, Mr. Chair, thank you for allowing me to speak for a bit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President McCallum. Now we're on to Section 6, the proposed consent agenda items. So for this part, I would like to turn to Minister Gervais and or Mr. Pruden, whoever wants to speak to it. But just if you're going to speak about what's missing in the minutes, just speak to what's missing in the minutes, if you could.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, elders, for the prayers and for holding those that are vulnerable in our thoughts today. Regarding the minutes from January 21st, 2025, on page 7, at the end, there's a request for action, and then it just says in camera. There was actually a public statement made, and it was made live streamed, and I'm requesting that that statement be recorded in the minutes verbatim. Thank you.
I'm sure there's a transcription. Okay, so we can have those comments added to the minutes. Okay, for sure. Finished, Minister Pruden? Oh. Okay. We're going to get legal to look, and they're going to do whatever it is that they do, but thank you very much.
Just for the record, it was a public statement. It was not in camera. It was a public statement, and I'm requesting that it be recorded in the minutes verbatim.
Okay, thank you. Secretary McCallum?
Also, in the minutes, it doesn't have the motion coming out of in camera.
Because that would be in the in-camera minutes.
Any motions that are made in camera need to come out of in camera.
And again, I was told by previous legal counsel that when a meeting ends and everybody leaves, the meeting's over. So it ends the in-camera meeting. It does. It does. So it ends the meeting as it was.
So I just need to clarify something and ask you as chair. So any motion, when we move away from our rules, we automatically fall under Robert's Rules of Order. And when there's motions made in camera, they are required to come out of in camera. Is that correct?
Yep.
Thank you.
Minister Friesen.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Minister Pruden for raising that. Brings me to a comment about verbatim in our minutes. We often make public statements, each and every one of us around this table, and they're never verbatim in our minutes. So I don't see what the purpose is of providing verbatim conversation in our minutes when we reflect the nature of the conversation, unless it's confidential matter and the resolutions coming out of the discussion.
Thank you, Minister. Minister Gervais.
Thank you, Chair. And I will go back to what Minister Friesen just said when she said that we often make statements or comments that potentially could be confidential. There was a statement made in public, and that needs to be a record recorded in our minutes. And if it isn't recorded in our minutes, then I'm alarmed. These are minutes that are going to go down in history with all of us, just as every other meeting. That is not then really being transparent and open with our citizens We can go back to many, 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 many minutes where there's different discussions and item points and stuff. So I am requesting that the statements that were said out of camera intentionally are recorded legally and correctly in these minutes before we pass these minutes. Because if we pass this today, these are not the true minutes of what transpired. And I call question.
Minister Burnoff had her hand up.
Hello, Mugisi Payao. Thank you, everyone, and nice day to be here. My first thought on this matter was that if we put those statements in verbatim, the last statements, then we'd have to put the other statements as well, because that statement was in isolation and it doesn't make sense without the previous statements. So that's just my thought that came up.
Thank you. Actually, we're going to stop because this is getting, it's talking around an issue that should be all in camera. So question was called. All in favor of the consent agenda?
With the amendment, sorry.
That was under, like, hold on. I don't know if we can make, so just Dorothy for that one, with the recommendation or the question, or sorry, the request that the verbatim end of the last meeting goes on the minutes. They have to check with, they're going to check. So it's duly noted.
Okay, but you're asking us to pass something that hasn't been resolved yet.
Vice President.
I think that we can come back to this when we're in camera. Verbatim minutes can be done with respect to if there's a legal proceeding or public hearings, high-stakes meetings, that kind of thing. And I think not risking the issue that we're talking about in camera, we can come back and discuss it at that time. That's going to be my suggestion.
Thank you, Vice President. Hillary.
Hi, hello, everyone. So the question that I'm hearing for legal, it's a technical question of, can a verbatim statement be included in the minutes? And I first want to speak to
Okay, hold on a second, Hillary. No cameras, no recordings, please. Anybody in the room? Okay, but you're aiming it right at her. Okay, if you could just, maybe if you put that down, that'd be much more. So no cameras, no recordings. Thank you. Back to Hillary. It's just common practice, John. So that includes the gallery as well.
Thank you, Speaker. So the intent of minutes is it is a summary of the meeting. It is not a transcript. So it's standard practice that in meeting minutes that there isn't verbatim statements. So I just want to be clear that what is being asked is a deviation from how minutes are generally done. Can it be done? That's, up to the council. But that's a decision that's up to the council. And I would say that it is out of practice to include a verbatim statement. It was if it's out of camera, it's public, that can be included in the minutes. But the council, just to be clear, would be asking the technical staff to do something that is not the normal practice.
Thank you, Hillary. Okay, can I get a motion?
Just to clarify,
Yeah.
sorry, I just want to make it clear that there is no mention of the public statement that was made anywhere in the minutes. And so our minutes need to reflect that that in fact did happen. There's not a word about it in anywhere in our minutes. That's my concern. That's not being ethical or, you know, doing our fiduciary duty. Something occurred publicly in that meeting, and it should be noted in the minutes somehow. Please,
Thank you. President McCallum.
Anyway, here I go, talking about technicalities again. We've been here now 15, closing 20 minutes on this issue. We're borderline in-camera items that we're talking about here. That's very dangerous for us to get into that water. Thin ice. I agree with Laura in regards to your remarks. There was more to that conversation leading to those statements. So, for me, I agree with our legal in regards to it's not normal procedure to be able to have verbatim in regards to what we talk about. But if you want to highlight that, that's up to us to go back and discuss and highlight the whole thing and put it on whatever platform we want to put it on for everybody to see how it led to that point of somebody making statements, whoever that may be. So we're very close to that space, having an all-out conversation, and again, not getting business done today. And our people are listening in. So those are technicalities, and I call question to this conversation.
Could I get a motion to accept the consent agenda, please? Minister Friesen?
I just need clarification, please, John.
Yes.
Thank you. So on the motion that is on the floor in regards to the consent agenda, because Vice President recommended something in regards to bringing the minutes, because even though if that was a public statement, to bring it into in camera, so then the minutes can be passed or deferred to the next meeting. So at this time, can we just introduce to accept the recorder and then take our minutes into in camera, or that specific area of the minutes? I don't know. I just need clarification on that because there was a lot said at the table and the procedure, and that was just a suggestion from legal and of what past practice may have been, but also what we can actually do. So if we can, I just need clarification before we move on to a vote. Thank you.
We will talk about this in camera, but as Dorothy had said, we'll table the issue. So just consent agenda on recording secretary. So Minister Friesen had moved, Mr. Bouvier had second, all in favor of 6.1. Thank you. Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Now, number 7, requested action items. The response to all the action items is in the online binder and ready to go there for anybody who had asked for that information. Yes, Secretary McCallum.
Thank you, and I speak to number 7, request for action. I was one of them that requested items for action, and it was requested on the self-government agreements. I didn't only ask for the self-government agreements because they're all online, and we all have copies of them, of course. But what I was specifically asking was the budget that went along with the self-government agreements, i.e., for an example, land. If there is a table of Northwest Saskatchewan, a side table, and are they addressing land? And when we were speaking about it, when they were talking about the budget, at that time they said there was money attached to it in 2 different areas, and I was asking specifically for that. So this is an incomplete, so if we can have the remaining information sent into our binders, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Duly noted. If there's further information needed, they will provide it to you. I was under the assumption it was just the 2 self-government documents, so I can dig it. Okay, thank you. So now we're going to go into number 8, resolutions. 8.1, Gabriel Dumont Institute Board of Governors, appointment for Northern Region 1. Whereas the Constitution of the Métis Nation Saskatchewan, Article 5.3, states that regional councils make appointments to affiliates at the provincial level. Whereas the Gabriel Dumont Institute of Native Studies and Applied Research, GDI, invited applications for the GDI Board of Governors to fill the vacant position in Northern Region 1 in an ad shared from September 2024 to December 2024, and whereas Northern Region 1 at their duly held meeting on January 28, 2025, recommended that Glenn Lafleur sit on the GDI Board of Governors representing Northern Region 1. And therefore be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council ratify the appointment of Glenn Lafleur to represent Northern Region 1 on the Gabriel Dumont Institute Board of Governors, dated this 18th day of February 2025. Moved by Laura Burnoff, Northern Region 1, seconded by Mervyn Tex Bouvier, Northern Region 2. Minister Burnoff, still so move.
Yes, I do.
Minister Bouvier, still so second.
Yes.
Any comments, concerns? Minister Gervais.
The only comment I have as Chair of GDI Board, I welcome Glenn Lafleur to the board. He's an excellent pick, and I talked to Minister Burnoff earlier today, and I said thank you very much for selecting a wonderful individual to come and represent their region and represent Métis Nation Saskatchewan on the GDI board. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Any other comments? Minister Friesen.
I too am in favor to the selection of the appointed representative for NR1. And I would just like to also suggest that for further appointments, that we actually receive their CVs or their resumes so that we can also read on the accomplishments of selected appointees to any board. Marcy.
Thank you very much. Sorry? Yeah, the resume is in the online minor. Yeah, and it's actually, yeah, good resume. All right.
Excuse me.
Yes, Vice President.
Yeah, I just want to support the motion as well. Glenn acted as acting chairperson in the past. He was on the GDI board for 15 years. And so I just want to wholeheartedly support this motion.
Thank you. Ms. Langen? Thank you. No other questions? All those in favor of the appointment of Mr. Lafleur? Okay, pass unanimously, I believe. Jay, is there any way you could shrink the screen there a little bit on the big picture? Because it's somewhere falling off. Just, anyways, congratulations to Mr. Lafleur. He can continue that good work he does with education. (8.2) MNS owned assets before the 2025 MNS election. Whereas the Métis Nation Saskatchewan MNS recognizes the distinctiveness of Métis identity, culture, values, and language, inclusive of knowledge keepers, les vieux monde, the old ones or elders, youth, women, and distinctive resources, which is incorporated into proposals and decisions of the Provincial Métis Council, PMC. Whereas it is past practice that MNS-owned assets assigned to the executive and regional representatives are returned before an MNS election. Whereas an MNS election for executive and regional representatives has been called for May 24, 2025, MNLA 240125-03. Whereas the Finance Committee resolved at their meeting on January 29, 2025 to recommend to the PMC that executive and regional representatives return MNS-owned assets before the MNS election, FC 250129-05. Therefore, be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council approves that the following Métis Nation Saskatchewan MNS-owned assets currently assigned to executive or regional representatives be returned by March 14, 2025 to MNS head office by 12 p.m. to allow for sufficient time for reconciliation of accounts, vehicle rentals, MNS-owned vehicles, credit cards, fleet cards, gas cards, and further be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council approves that all other MNS-owned assets assigned to executive and regional representatives, including cell phones, laptops, chargers, iPads, and other accessories, be returned to M&S head office by 12 p.m. on April 17, 2025. Dated this 18th day of February 2025, moved by Mark Friesen, Eastern Region 3, seconded Billy Kennedy, Western Region 1A. Mr. Friesen, still so move.
I so move, and I'd like to speak to it too, please.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, still so second.
I do.
Thank you. Minister Friesen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With regards to M&S assets, of course, we want to ensure that we have accountability and transparency, as always, with M&S assets, including officially what has been assigned to elected officials. And there are some privileges as executive members have received, such as M&S-owned vehicles and also credit card privileges. Now, fleet cards included. So in order for us to reconcile credit card statements to the actual expenditures and to be allocated to the appropriate budgets, we need a minimum of 30 days to do so. And with the election pending and the writ period effective April 18th, we're requesting that in order for us to do our due diligence in finance, that the above is returned at the appropriate date, which we've decided is 30 days prior to our reconciled reporting period, which is March 14th. So I realize that, of course, business is still happening across the province for our elected executive. However, we also have to comply to what is our timelines with reconciled reporting with finance. So I'm requesting that folks honor that request and that the credit cards and the fleet cards are returned by March 14th. Any vehicle rentals, of course, I don't know, I may have perhaps one that is outstanding, but for obvious reasons, we need to ensure that we are returning property in a timely fashion so that we can complete our work in the Ministry of Finance. So that's my comment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Minister. Youth President Langler-Rose.
Thank you, Chair. I definitely support this resolution, a great step towards ensuring fairness in the election. I just ask maybe an amendment or an addition somewhere that either the President or the CEO report back to the PMC that the PMC has completed the actions and the resolutions by, I guess, the 17th of April or March, or when, by the 14th of March or the 17th of March, like that's the Monday. It doesn't matter, but just
a report.
Just to make sure that we are all up to speed that yes, these actions have been completed.
Sure, Mr. Friesen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, President, for that comment and support. Yes, we can confirm with the Ministry of Finance that that will be reflected back to the Provincial Métis Council.
Thank you. Minister Bouvier.
So just a question, I guess, regarding elected officials. We are elected officials, but we have a lot of staff that are also not sure if they're carrying cards or not sure if they're driving vehicles. And here we're going for an election, and I'm not sure where the staff fall into this area, you know, because it confuses me because they continue on to spend, to drive without the proper elected officials. So, and who's going to take care of them while they're, all the elected officials have to hand in their cars or whatever, their vehicles?
Thank you for the question. Mr. Friesen will answer that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Minister Bouvier, for your question. Just to confirm, This does not include the public service. The public service needs to maintain, of course, their duties, and this falls into regular duties, either assigned to an M&S asset such as a vehicle, or directors and chiefs and deputy chiefs have credit card privileges. Most of them do, and they need to maintain that to follow through with their regular duties. So that answer would be a no to staff, but applies to the elected officials. Thank you.
Just to,
Short follow-up.
I guess, is regarding, what was I going to say? That staff have the cards or have to continue on, but who takes care of them? I just want to know who takes care of them in that area.
That would be just under the umbrella of the MNS, the CEO.
I mean, I know what I was going to say, the contracts. Is there contracts on staff that we don't know? Because I don't know anything about the staff at all. Not even one staff, how their contracts are. 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years. Because we are elected officials for 4 years. I just want to know for myself.
Sure, most people are just regular employees, but Minister Friesen?
Thank you, Minister Bouvier. I'll defer that to COO Matt Vermette.
Yeah, so I'd say the bulk of the employees in the public service have either an ongoing contract where it's a permanent employee, meaning there's no end date to the contract. It's just kind of going on indefinitely. And that happens for most of our A-based funding, so things like ELCC, health, things that are essential to run the government, like legislative services, legal, things like that. There are some staff that are in a different kind of stream, and they get multi-year contracts. Some only 1 year, some 2 years, and those are program-dependent staff. So we have some programs that'll pop up, and it'll be a 2-year program, and we only know that we've got funding for 2 years. So in that case, we often enter into contracts that end at the end of that program funding stream. But I would say the vast majority are regular employees, with the remainder being employees that have term lengths. But the idea within the public service is that the CEO is delegated kind of operational control of the public service, and so it's business as usual during an election period. Not quite business as usual. It's business, essential business. We kind of restrict a lot of different things, so you won't see us out there putting out new events or new announcements or engaging with citizens on things. It'll be very much, we're keeping what's running, while all of you are going through your electoral process, and there will be no spending outside of our financial authorities. And so basically, for that election period, I can approve up to 100K as per our financial policies. The CEO can approve up to 250, but that's it. So without a finance committee and without a PMC, we don't make any purchases greater than that outside of a defined budget. Hope that helps.
Thank you. Minister Gervais.
Thank you, Chair. Some of my questions have been answered, but I have couple questions. First of a comment. I want to thank Minister Friesen as Minister of Finance for bringing forward this resolution. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It adds to, our motto of transparency and accountability. So I want to thank you for that. But also with this vehicle rentals, M&S-owned vehicles, and so on, my question would be, goes back to kind of what President Lang-LaRose said, is to be notified, but I would also like, and it just has to be internal, doesn't have to be external, a list of M&S owned vehicles. I know we own vehicles like the outreach and stuff like that, right? The outreach workers and that, but I didn't know that any of us had owned vehicles. I think that's important. It does not have to be external. It should be internal, but here's my concern. If I'm one of those people that is driving an owned M&S vehicle, or I buy a new vehicle, let's say I buy a new vehicle, and somebody runs around and says, well, Wendy Gervais is running around with a new vehicle, and it's M&S's, right? I think it's transparency and accountability of those owned vehicles, so that we know at this table that Wendy Gervais is driving an M&S owned vehicle, brand new, and it's after March 15th, right? So I think that is very important. And then that list just comes to us as internal.
Okay.
It's an internal check to keep us all
Okay, thank you.
on
Yeah.
the same playing field.
And yeah, let's try to keep the talk, and I
Yeah.
understand your request, but to the motion. Minister Friesen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Minister Gervais, for your comment. And I agree. We are currently updating our asset list, including M&S-owned assets, including vehicles. And you are absolutely correct. We have just recently purchased mobile outreach vehicles, and I know that there's fleet vehicles that are tied to infrastructure for Batoche, and there's a number of assets that we have acquired since our last update. So by all means, we will update that asset list and circulate that.
And that'll come, thank you, Minister, that'll come to then the PMC.
Yeah.
Great. So then March 15th as
Absolutely. And I just wanted to make
Thank
another
you.
comment here, that just to be transparent, that Provincial Métis Council members do receive a vehicle allowance monthly. It's attached to their monthly salary, which was approved by the Provincial Métis Council. And so just to be transparent, that we do receive a vehicle allowance monthly, qualifying the use of our personal vehicles, and we also receive a reimbursement on mileage. So for those of us who do not drive M&S vehicles, we are compensated for the use of our personal vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd just like to remind everybody to speak to this motion regarding handing this stuff back in. Vice President Leclerc, please.
I was just going to call a question.
Okay, question's been called. Yeah, and so did 4 other people here. So we usually, when we call a question, we finish the list. And so we will go to Minister Pruden Ansell.
Just a very quick question. I guess I'm posing it to Minister Friesen. This resolution states executive and region, but it's my understanding that it's only the executive who would have rented vehicles or credit cards. I don't believe any of the regional directors have vehicles or credit cards, so I just want to clarify that.
It speaks to both. It speaks to gas cards and it speaks to your phones. So it covers everybody.
But I'm just saying, I don't believe any of the regional directors have an M&S vehicle or a credit card or an M&S phone. That's why
Minister Friesen.
that's why we have capacity budgets.
Minister Friesen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Minister Pruden Ansell, for your question. As the chair states, the resolution encompasses all M&S assets, including laptops, anything attached to those laptops, cell phones. There are some regional directors who have M&S issued cell phones. I have one. iPads, any accessories to do with M&S business has to be returned as stated by April 17th. So it's all inclusive of all M&S equipment, assets, including computers, laptops, all of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Langen.
Thank you. I was going to call a question a long time ago, but I kept getting cut off. But anyway, I do agree with this motion. And I just want to state one thing, that if there's any staff members that are planning on running in the election and are going to be taking a leave of absence to do so, that if
This
they...
is to the motion.
Yeah, if they have any of this equipment, that they as well, for their own safety, would need to return it. That's
Yes,
all I
that's,
wanted to
yeah,
say.
that's part of the protocols you have written up at the MNS.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you. Minister Dignas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've got an agenda to work with. We've got a long afternoon. Could we, as you mentioned, please stick to the questions that are being asked
Thank you.
and answered? I can be here all night. I'm paid to do it, but really, is it necessary?
Okay, thank you. Mr. McLennan, online.
Hi, everybody. I was just thinking about an amendment to this resolution. What about the housing that we own, the buildings we own, the condos that we rent? What about that? Could we implement that into this amendment also? Because I know with your government, we have to let people know for accountability and transparency, we have to let them know how much we make, how much travel people get. And I just think for our people, they need to be shown that we're accountable to them. Transparency is out there, and I just think that we should be accountable to all of them, and transparency should be one of the major components. So I would ask for an amendment to that for any houses that we own, any buildings we own, condos, anything like that. Thank you.
Okay, that's just on the list of assets, I assume you're asking, so that Minister Friesen has duly heard that. And Minister McLennan, next time you speak, if you turn on your camera, it'd be appreciated, and anybody else who's online as elected representative, when you speak, if you could turn on your camera. So, question's been called. All in favor of said motion of turning in assets?
I understood that Minister Friesen agreed, so can we amend the motion that we're voting on then?
No, it wasn't the motion. She had asked for a list of assets, and Ms. McLennan asked for a list
Oh,
of
I see.
assets. So it's not to the motion, it's the list of assets. All in favor? Thank you.
Chair?
Opposed?
Chair,
Yes?
it was an amendment to her motion, or
Oh, and your camera's upside, Minister, and you're muted, actually.
sorry, it was an amendment to her motion, and I don't know how to turn my camera around, sorry.
Okay,
I'm
good
just
luck.
upside down.
It was irrelevant to the motion, but it's... Okay, excellent. So a motion passed. Thank you. 8.3, setting the dates of the 2026-2027 Métis Nation Legislative Assemblies. Whereas Article 3.10 of the Constitution of the Métis Nation Saskatchewan authorizes the Provincial Métis Council to set the date and place for each sitting of the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly. Therefore, be it resolved that the Métis Nation Métis Nation Legislative Assembly be held at Prairieland Park, 503 Ruth Street West, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan on the following dates: 2026 Spring, 2026 MNLA, May 22 to 24, 2026. Fall 2026 MNLA, November 20 to 22, 2026. 2027, Spring 2027 MNLA, May 28th to 30th, 2027. Fall 2027, November 19th to 21, 2027. Dated this 18th day of February, 2025. Moved by Michelle Leclerc, Vice President. Seconded, President Glenn McCallum. Vice President Leclerc, still so move? Thank you, President McCallum. Thank you. Questions, cares, concerns? Secretary.
Thank you. Is on the 2025 resolution, so there is a scheduled 2025 assembly for fall, is it?
That's irrelevant to this.
Well,
Actually, can I speak to that really
it is,
quickly?
it's irrelevant. It's important because on there, it's not showing that we're having a fall 2025 assembly.
There
Can I
is-
speak to that?
Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary McCallum. There is a separate motion because we had made a motion previously at our last PMC meeting to have it in June. It has to be moved to September because we couldn't find a space. So there's an upcoming resolution around that.
That'd be 8.5. Ms. Langen?
Question?
Good question. I saw your hand go up, so we'll give Ms. Bruden
Very quickly, just to VP Leclerc and President McCallum, is there a reason that this PMC is setting the MNLAs for the future PMC? Shouldn't that the next PMC be setting these MNLAs?
Secretary, or Vice President, sorry?
You're just changing
I
my
got-
title all
yeah.
day. This has been past practice, as I understand it, that we set it. The next Provincial Métis Council may choose to change it, but we have to have sort of that lead time ahead of time to book and do all of those kinds of things.
If I can add on to that, Mr.
You
Chair.
betcha, President.
Anyway, even the June MNLA, our staff are working hard to be able to accommodate in regards to what resolutions we pass at this table. So they get to find out in regards to the availability of those dates and space, there was nothing available. So we have to give them some head time to be able to get to that point where they can actually accommodate an assembly. So those are the dates I believe that they've been working on that could accommodate those assemblies. That's one of the reasons too. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, President. So question been called. All those in favor of those dates?
Excuse me, I had my hand up.
Sorry, question had been called already, Minister McLennan. I didn't see your hand.
Wow.
And I'll work with Jay to make sure he alerts me if in the future. Okay, so could I just get those hands again, please, for all in favor? Perfect, thank you. For the next one, I have to excuse myself because there is conflict, and I believe Matt will chair for the next motion.
Okay, so this is my first time chairing at PMC, so bear with me, but I've chaired a lot of meetings, so I'll do my best.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Okay, so Resolution 8.4, appointment of MNLA Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Whereas Article 5 of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan Legislative Assembly Act 1999, MNLA Act, directs the Provincial Métis Council to appoint a Speaker and Deputy Speaker for the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly, which must be ratified by the MNLA. Whereas the term of appointment of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker is 2 years, as per the MNLA Act, Article 5.1.1. Whereas the MNLA at their assembly on May 27th, 2023, appointed John Lajamodier and Merelda Fiddler-Potter to 2-year terms as Speaker and Deputy Speaker, respectively. And whereas Merelda Fiddler-Potter has since resigned from the Deputy Speaker position, therefore be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council appoints John Lajamodier as Speaker and Mike Nolan as Deputy Speaker of the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly for a 2-year term beginning on the date of ratification of this appointment by the MNLA. Dated this 18th day of February 2025, moved by Brent Dignas, Eastern Region 2, and seconded by President Glenn McCallum. Minister Dignas, do you so move?
I so move.
Okay, thank you. President McCallum, do you so second?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. He's here somewhere. So I guess with that, we'll just bring it to the floor for, oh, okay. Minister Bouvier, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
So, Mr. Chair, you know, for the longest time I've been here and observing, and a person learning how to be chair and learning from us, the political party, the people, the person has learned a lot to be given that speaker, you know, and I have to say, I have to be in favor of this motion because sometimes we need also another person to to be involved in understanding all the political policies or whatever, because we always run into a lot of fire regarding political parts or policies or bylaws, and we need these people to making sure that they do an awesome job to keep the peace. And I'm in favor of this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Provincial Secretary McCallum.
Thank you. I speak against the motion, and the reason why I speak against the motion is I appreciate John Lagimoti's chairing. However, no, I know, but I appreciate him. I just want to say that. And I also appreciate Mike Nolan. He was our previous chair as well. But I speak against a motion due to, I would like to request a woman be replaced of, what's that lady's name? Merelda Fiddler. And because when we brought Merelda in, we introduced a balance. You know, not saying that 2 women can't be there or 2 men, but it would be really nice to have a male and female. And Merelda also brought a lot of assets to the table. She brought some balance to the table as well. And I know that we don't have names at the table today, but that's the reason why I speak. So I would like to see some balance. Thank you.
Thank you, Provincial Secretary. Minister Wendy Gervais.
Thank you, Chair, Co-Chair. I just have one question. Were these positions advertised? And if so, where, when? And these are important positions, and I think they should be advertised and opened up to a broad spectrum of Métis citizens who also have an opportunity to step into that position. And I will end it with this. Those chairs or speakers of the House, that is an opportunity for us to build capacity in our communities and within, you know, the larger sector of our nation. And when I say build capacity, that allows other people to step into those positions to quote unquote be trained. So at this point in time, I speak against this motion unless somebody can show me the advertisement that went out where other people had an opportunity to apply. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Gervais. Legislative Services has confirmed that there was not an advertisement in this round. Vice President Leclerc. Minister Friesen.
Marcy. Thank you, Chair. I speak in favor of the motion. I think these 2 individuals know about the proceedings, the processes, the procedures that we follow with the Legislative Assembly, and they get the business done. They help to move the agenda forward, which I think is much needed when we come together as a Legislative Assembly to get business done. And I commend Merelda for her time in service of the Legislative Assembly. However, I think given time frame, these 2 gentlemen are great candidates for the role. Marcy.
Okay, thank you, Minister. Okay, and actually we just got a clarification from Legislative Services. So in John's case, his initial appointment was subject to renewal. So for him, it's a renewal option. And for Mr. Nolan, it would be a new appointment. Next on the speakers list, we have Minister McLennan. Okay, looks as though Minister McLennan may have lowered her hand. So we'll move down the list to President Glenn McCallum.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I'm going to speak against my resolution. Muata da sumuta gawi utna gawi tinigani stak man assemblies ka ya ki gawi gimi asik Tagasit na ako ay sinuwag tanatayam tsigas tsingat sita tsigan magiwe gani ko. Nolan experience tanga machita mahingi ako tagitanan. Igagwi mamuopia katu igagwi sui pinigya na tagawiya. Tunigwe siya metkay intuhtak kan the politics around that position gaya tuni tagakwi pingit ngi tagakimao. Igwasi ko tagi na nuemutin miseto man nagite sini minawak. Kaut na ko misata ni gagwi sakti tsiga pu saktihin ko tsigaw mui mai sewan ma tagita pa tsigati tan siga ita tuski te sino tan siga suipin giti na ego pu tagita pa tama ego ta tukan tuhtami geo kan tuhtami ko magay tuyan puta naga tuhkya kay ko si te suan paksinya apus ko na pio kay tot na apu kay tienas ko tagagia ya moralda utangagi at tinigwes mi wes ko spam na no kisipui tiu sipui matu igo hiwi saktihin go tan sikay say mi higot ay sino at the assembly apo nga magyugsigi tagaw ya tatos kata ma to apologize igi tagaw ya magiwi to tamakya batanos magagi sagat miskog tutino. You know, I speak highly in favor of this resolution. I look at our history in regards to where we come from. John has done a really good job. You know, Lynn, when we were struggling, I remember in Yorkton, the politics of the day, we couldn't even get our people together for a whole day just to call an election. Nolan stepped up to the plate and brought us together. And that's what I support. It's people that understand and are knowledgeable and they have the experience to be able to know how to support or how to do their jobs. And I said in my language, in our language, in regards to the many times that we don't accept our people, Brennan is an example of how many negativities he faced coming to the nation. A former drug addict, lost all his family. It took the nation to be able to step up to that plate and embrace him. And I applaud our government and our Métis people to start doing that, keep doing that. And so when we see people like Nolan, a lot of people don't appreciate the style that he has. Same with me, I have the same style. I remember I was called a bully in Elkridge. I'm not a bully. I'm a person that wants to do his job. I'm assertive, blunt. That's how far my presence, my voice has got us to this level, to open the doors of the federal government, provincial government, industry, institutions. It's not because I was president I did all of that when I was a private person, not in a place like I am now. I always did that in my life. But people know that they can trust me, that when I say something, I will do it. And that's how some of our people are. Yes, they fall into bad times. I said this at the last provincial council meeting. If everybody was to evaluate and assess each and every one of us, how many would be left to stay at this table if we were to bring up our own histories? It'd be amazing in regards to the stories that we'd hear from everyone around this table. So it's easy to criticize someone, and that's the other thing I always talk about is, if somebody says something, it don't hurt my feelings. This is a political arena that we're in. It's not our private lives. I've always said, my wife and I have suffered a lot through the 8 years that we're just about here. She just about left me twice, my wife. And yet we throw it out there. Just because somebody talks a certain way, an assertive way, or somebody has a life in regards to being in drugs or alcohol or gangs, whatever. And we're the first one to say, let's embrace our people, let's help our people. So I support this. I will support this resolution, and I hope the majority of you support this resolution, Because we gotta start embracing the people we don't like, or people that act a certain way and be judged by how they act in a certain way, but as long as they get their job done. That's what we're here. That's why we're here. So I support this resolution 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, President McCallum. Okay, what's that, sir? Oh, yeah, you're a couple away, yeah, sorry. Minister Kathy Pridden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to speak directly to the motion. I will not be voting in favor of this because, again, I believe this is the role of the new PMC to choose who their speakers will be. So I will not be voting in favor. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Lafita Madeline, President Darlene Langen.
Thank you. I'm going to speak against the motion, just simply because we're always being questioned. Has it been advertised? Has it been put out there? Have any others had the opportunity to apply that might be very qualified as well? And that's always coming at us at this table about these things not be posted. So that's the only reason I'm speaking against it. I think everybody needs to have a fair opportunity to come forward and put their name forward for this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I did get one point of clarification. Sorry, it's kind of like a newswire here. I'm getting little bits and pieces. But the last posting or advertisement was 2 years ago. So it was posted 2 years ago. And at that time, there were no applicants. And so they had to approach John and Merelda. And so that was the history of that 2 year ago appointment, if anybody's wondering. So, okay. Moving down the list here, we've got Vice President Michelle Leclerc.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I guess I have some of the same concerns as some of my colleagues around the table. 2 years ago, it was advertised, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it again. And I can support appointing these two individuals, and it's not about liking or disliking anybody. I can support appointing these two individuals for the September meeting, because we're going to have new, hopefully we'll be back, but we may have new people at the table. And I think of people like, and I agree, I think we need to have balance, whether it's a gender diverse person or a woman or what have you. And the first person that comes to mind, she's going to kill me right now, but for example, our youth president is aging out. She's amazing chair. She, was the youth, or the president of the University Student Council. So life changes. We have more citizens, as President McCallum said, like 33,000 and 5 in the works. I think I could support this motion if it was for the next MNLA, and then allow the council coming up to appoint for the next 2 years. Yeah, so I would ask for a friendly amendment. Did you make the motion? Who made the motion? Mr. Dignas?
Mr. Dignas.
Mr. Chair, I would accept that amendment.
Would the seconder accept the amendment?
I would too, yes.
Oops. Okay, so we'll amend that to an appointment for the fall MNLA, September MNLA. Well, there's still a motion coming forward to amend that date, so I think we should change the wording to say the next MNLA, just to make sure that, yeah, we create space for that. Okay.
Just a point of clarification. It's my understanding that we recommend to the MNLA and they ratify any appointments. And so no contracts can be made with individuals until the MNLA actually ratifies them.
Yeah,
That's according to our act, so.
We'll get a quick kind of legal check-in on that to see how we structure it. Just, I think of the idea of getting them to the MNLA, because the ratification will happen at the MNLA, and they probably won't come for free. And so we're just going to have to figure out how we figure out that transactional piece. So we'll look into that and get back to the PMC on that. Moving back to our list, we've got Minister Brent Dignas.
Again, Mr. Chair, I speak in favor of this motion with the amendment. Sometimes we get lost with the forest or the trees, or however that saying goes. We really need to focus at setting our government in place to continue operations, whether or not we sit at this table in the future or not. I don't feel that we should be holding back our government any longer from growing or our stagnant operations. We need to move forward. Thank you.
Okay.
If question hasn't been called, I call question.
Thank you, Minister. There is one more person on the speakers list, or your hand was up. Was it up? Okay. Could we add Minister Gervais to the speakers list? Okay, and President McCallum, this is your second.
I call question.
My hand is up also, please.
Okay, we'll add Minister McLennan to the speakers list and close it. Okay, Minister Wendy Gervais.
Thank you. I would like clarification, please, before we move forward, because there was a suggested amendment by VP Leclerc. So I'm unclear if we've made that amendment, and that's what we're voting on, is the amended resolution. And if we are, could we read that amended resolution?
Yeah, at the time of vote, we'll read it in, and it is amended. We can triage it at that point.
Just wanted to make sure I was a little bit mixed up there.
Okay, thank you, Minister.
Can we add 2025? Like, so that it's there, it's 2025?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, last speaker on the list, we have Minister Sherry McLennan.
I'm still upside down. Sorry, I apologize. I know it's just a little thing, but can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just taking notes as everybody was speaking, and so I speak against this again because we might have new people coming in, and it should be up to them to be able to appoint. But when we said that there was no place that we could hold MNLA, we just paid $8 million for Batoche. Why could we not bring our people to Batoche? So I'm just speaking against, and that's a place that we own. We don't have to charge for. Just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Okay, so with that, we're going to read the amended resolution. Okay, so starting from the top. Whereas Article 5 of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan Legislative Assembly Act, 1999, directs the Provincial Métis Council to appoint a Speaker and Deputy Speaker for the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly, which must be ratified by the MNLA. Whereas the term of appointment for the Speaker and Deputy Speaker is 2 years. Whereas the MNLA at their assembly on May 27, 2023 appointed John Lagimodier and Merelda Fiddler-Potter to 2-year terms as Speaker and Deputy Speaker respectively, and whereas Merelda Potter has since resigned from the Deputy Speaker position, or Merelda Fiddler-Potter, sorry, therefore be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council appoints John Lagimodier as Speaker and Mike Nolan as Deputy Speaker of the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly for the remainder of 2025, dated this 18th day of February 2025. Does that suffice?
I don't believe that was what the amendment was. I mean, the next PMC may decide, or MNLA, that we're going to have 3 MNLAs in a row. I think the amendment was to the next 2025 MNLA.
Okay. Okay, that's what I heard as well. So if we can just change that to the next MNLA meeting in 2025. Okay. Okay, with that, we're going to take it to a vote. Oh, sorry. I already did at the front end. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, so can I get the mover to confirm that the final wording is agreeable?
I still so move.
Okay, thank you. And seconder?
Hey.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, we'll take it to a vote. Okay. Kate, we need about 5 minutes on this, so we're going to take a quick 5-minute recess.